Okay, so we are beginning with our third presentation, which has to do with writing standard research abstract. So welcome again to this presentation. I hope that this will also be a good help to you because writing abstract is one of the important components so far as doing research is concerned. Okay. Because whoever is going to read your paper, after the person reads the title, the next thing he's going to read is the abstract before he goes into the proper paper. So if the abstract is not well written, the person will not proceed to read the paper. So it means that you have to be able to write your abstract very well. That when the abstract is well written, uh, it's also market your paper. It's a way also of promoting your paper. Yeah, because the abstract will try to uh, raise the interest of the reader. If he reads the abstract and he gets to know that wow, the findings are very good. The method used is amazing. Okay, let me continue and read the rest. Okay, so usually that is how things work. So you have to be able to write a very good abstract, all right, in order to engage the reader. So we are going to cover basically number one, the parts of a research abstract, and then we'll look at the types of abstracts, and then we'll look at how to write a standard research abstract. And number four will be the Highland Move abstract. So at the end of the discussion, you'll be able to know which type of abstract that you have to use in writing your journal paper. Okay, so the first part of the abstract is the introduction. So the abstract needs to get an introduction. Again, I'm talking about a standard research abstract. Sometimes they are papers, if you read them, it begins with the aim or the purpose. Okay, it's not bad. However, that is not a standard abstract. So we are talking about standard abstract here. Number two, it should have a purpose or aim, and then it should have a method, and then results, conclusion slash recommendation. Okay, so all these five components should be found in the abstract. Okay, all these five components should be found in the abstract. So let's continue by looking at an example of an abstract. Example of an abstract. Actually, I got this study from ISI. Okay, so let's look at it. The management of ill discipline among learners has become a serious challenge for teachers. Okay, so let's continue. This article reports on the on a study conducted to determine how teachers in the primary school of the Majaben municipality, Free State, South Africa, manage ill discipline among learners. A mixed method approach, which comprised of a questionnaire and semi-structured interviews, was used to collect data. 16 teachers completed the questionnaire and 8 of them were also interviewed. The results revealed that majority of the participants applied or accepted measures of managing ill discipline, such as talking politely to learners, chasing learners out of the classroom, involving the principal and parents. However, some of the participants applied unapproved illegal measures of disciplining learners, such as inflicting corporal punishment, swearing at learners, and pinching learners. The participants who applied the unapproved or illegal measures of disciplining learners reported that these measures were more effective than the approved measures. All the participants reported that the approved measures were unhelpful in maintaining an environment conducive for effective teaching and learning. They were compelled to apply. They were compelled to apply them. The training of teachers in the approved disciplinary practices, as well as the involvement of parents in learning and learner discipline, are recommended. Okay, so this is the whole abstract. Okay, this is the whole abstract. So you see here that I have uh, coded the different components with different colors. Okay, so now I want us to break this abstract down and look at what is the introduction, what one is the purpose, the method, the results, and then the conclusion. Okay, so now let's look at how to write the background, how to write the background. Okay, so you have to give a brief background of the study in your abstract. Okay, you need to give a brief background. Okay, so again, we are learning how to write the abstract background. Okay, it should it should highlight the main issue in your you are addressing or in your study. So the background should, number one, be brief. Number two, it should highlight the main issue you are trying to address. And number three, it should not be more than two sentences. So the background component of your abstract should not be more than two sentences. So 1 to 2 only. Okay, now let's look at the example we read a while ago. Okay, so in the example we read a while ago, the example was this. The management of ill discipline among learners has become a serious challenge for teachers, okay? Has become a serious challenge for teachers. So if I will go back, okay, so you see here the first line, the first sentence, the management of ill discipline among learners has become a serious challenge, okay? So this is the introduction of the abstract, the introduction component of the abstract. Okay, so let's go back again. Now the aim component, number one, you have to ask this question. What is the primary aim or purpose of your study? Okay, so you have to consider the primary aim. So you will state it in 1 to 2 sentences only. State it in 1 to 2 sentences only. Okay, number three, do not write your problem statement here. So in the abstract, that is not where you write your problem statement. So you just write the main aim of the study. Okay, the main aim, the core objective of the study, which will be written in 1 to 2 sentences only. 1 to 2 sentences, not more than that. 1 to 2 sentences only. Okay, so let's look at the example given before. This article reports on a study conducted to determine how teachers in the primary school of the Medjugorje municipality, Free State, South Africa, manage ill discipline among learners. So this is the objective of the study. So here we see that it's just stated in one sentence. That is all, stated in just one sentence. Okay. Now let's look at the methodology aspect of the abstract. Okay, the question is, what research method and design did you use? What research method and design did you use? Okay, what research method and design did you use? Number two, where was the research conducted? Where was the research conducted? And then who were your participants or respondents? So where was the study conducted, and then who were your participants and respondents? Okay, so in here you are going to indicate where the study was conducted and who were your respondents. Okay, and then number three, how did you gather your data? What research instrument did you use? Okay, how did you gather your data and what research instrument did you use? And the last here is, it should be stated in 2 to 3 sentences only. It should be stated in 2 to 3 sentences only. Okay, so now let's look at the example here. Okay, so a mixed method approach which comprised of a questionnaire and semi-structured interviews was used to collect data. 16 teachers completed the questionnaire and 8 of them were also interviewed. So here we see that the research locale and then the respondents were attached to the introduction expert. Maybe I can show you. Let's go back again. Okay, so this is the example of the introduction expert. So here we see that it says that this study reports on a study conducted to determine how teachers in the primary school, so this is the respondent, okay, in the primary school of the Medjugorje municipality, Free State, South Africa, the research locale. So we see here that the respondents and then the research locale has been attached to the introduction. Okay, oh no, is it the introduction? No, has been attached to the purpose of the study. Okay, so usually it's better to state the purpose just alone. So this could be one of the weakness of this particular abstract, that the purpose was not separated from the research locale. So this could be a weakness. However, the most important thing is you are indicating the research locale and then the respondents you are using for your study. So here in this example, we see that the research locale and then the respondents were attached to the purpose. Okay, so this is how it looks like. However, like I said a while ago, the most important thing is you are indicating the locale and then the respondents also in your abstract. Now the results, number 4. So the first thing here is capture or highlight the main results only. Okay, so capture the main result only. Avoid too much details. Don't write detailed results here. Okay, no lengthy discussion here. You don't do lengthy discussion. So you add brief inferences or implications. Okay, so you may add just brief inferences or implications, but not detailed discussion. Okay, so your your results section for the abstract could be just 3 to 5 sentences, 3 to 5 sentences only. So it should not be more than that. Okay, it should not be more than that. So just keep it very, very brief as much as possible. Now let's look at an example here. The result revealed that the majority of the participants approved or accepted measures of managing ill discipline, such as talking politely to learners, chasing them out of the classroom, and involving the principal and parents. However, some of the participants applied unapproved or illegal measures of disciplining learners, such as inflicting corporal punishment, swearing at learners, and pinching learners. The participants who applied the unapproved or illegal measures of disciplining learners reported that these measures were more effective than the approved measures. All the participants reported that though the approved measures were unhelpful in maintaining an environment conducive for effective teaching and learning, they were compelled to apply them. So we see here that this is the results of the study, and it's been stated in how many sentences? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 sentences here. Okay, 4 sentences here. Okay, now writing the conclusion and recommendation aspect of the abstract. Okay, so you should ask yourself maybe question like, okay, you have already got your results, so and so what does it mean? Okay, what is the essence of your result? How does it add to literature? Okay, so number 2, provide a super brief version of your abstract, of your finding. Provide a super brief version of your findings. Okay, provide inference and implication of the finding, and then state it in 1 to 2 sentences only. Okay, you just state it in 1 to 2 sentences, not more than that. So this is the conclusion and recommendation. Now, in this example, this is what was presented. Okay, the training of teachers in the approved disciplinary practices, as well as the involvement of parents in learner discipline are recommended. So here, a conclusion was not given, but a recommendation has been given, which is okay. Okay, so a conclusion was not given, but there is a recommendation. So you can either choose a recommendation or choose a conclusion, or you can choose both. If you choose both, it means that your conclusion will be 1 sentence and your recommendation will be 1 sentence, not more than that. Okay, so you just keep it simple and brief as much as possible. Okay, now remember, every journal has its own abstract style. Okay, every journal has got its own style, so there is no fixed style that fits for all journals. No, it's not like that. Number 2, before you finalize your abstract, check the journal, check the author guidelines of the journal you want to submit your paper to. So you have to check the author guideline of the journal you want to submit your paper to, which is very important. So read some of the abstract from the published papers To get yourself acquainted with what is right, you can check some of the abstract from the journal published papers. Okay, so you have to follow the journal style, okay? Follow the journal style. And then number 5, most abstracts are between 100 to 250. Okay, most abstract. Usually it cannot go beyond 250. If you are talking about journals which are really recognized journals, usually it doesn't go beyond 250 words. Okay, so you should take note of this so that you don't write a very lengthy abstract. Okay, let's go to the next step, the 4 types of research abstract. The 4 types of research abstracts. The first is critical abstract. Critical abstract. Okay, so what is it? So a critical abstract describes the main findings and information, okay, and comments on the study's validity, reliability, and or completeness. Okay, so take note of this. It describes main findings, information, comment on the study's validity, reliability, or completeness. And then the researcher evaluates the paper and often compares it with other works in the same subject. Okay, so that is it. Usually, critical abstracts are generally between 400 to 500 words. Okay, due to the additional interpretive commentary. So this is the length, 400 to 500. And then this type of abstract are not commonly used for research publication. So typically, critical abstract is similar to what in the graduate school they call a critic paper. The only difference is how it is presented in the graduate school, because usually in writing critical abstract we don't use tables, okay? It's just paragraph like that. But usually in the graduate school we use tables to indicate the strength, the weakness of the paper, and so on and so forth. So that is a similar thing which is done in the graduate school. So critical abstract is similar to critic paper as we do in the graduate school. Okay, so the next thing here is descriptive abstract. Descriptive abstract. Okay, so it indicates the type of information found in the work. Okay, it indicates the type of information found in the work, and then it also makes no judgment at all, or nor does it provide results or conclusion of the research. So it incorporates the keywords found in the text and may include the purpose, the method, and the scope of the research as well. So here we are saying that it incorporates the keywords, okay? It incorporates also the purpose and then the method and the scope. Okay, so let's take note of this. And we are saying it doesn't make any judgment compared to critical abstract that tries to find the strength and the weakness of the paper. Over here, no strength and no strength and weakness are indicated. Okay, so here it's trying to find the keywords, the purpose, the methods, the scope of the research. That's all. So essentially, the descriptive abstract only describes the work in summary. Okay, so the magic word here is summary. The magic word here is summary. Take note of this. So some researchers consider it as an outline of the work rather than a summary. Okay, so usually in some institutions, especially for thesis writing, before you write your conclusion, they have summary of the thesis. Okay, they have summary. That is called a descriptive abstract. So write a summary of the thesis, and then before the conclusion and recommendation. So the summary of the work is called a descriptive abstract. Okay, and usually it should be around 100 words. However, uh, as I have seen in several theses and dissertations, they go beyond the 100 words. Yeah, but according to literature, it should not be more than 100 words. Okay, for writing descriptive abstract or an outline of a study. Okay, number three is informative abstract. Informative abstract. So most research publication abstracts are informative abstract. Okay, this is what we are going to use in our publication. So while they still do not critique or evaluate a work, they do more than describe it. Okay, so it's not only about, it goes beyond what descriptive abstract does. So most research the second paragraph. A good informative abstract acts as a surrogate. Okay, that's the magic word here. Surrogate for the work itself. Okay, that is the researcher presents and explains all the main arguments and the important results and evidence in the paper. Okay, so you describe every component of the paper from the introduction all the way to the conclusion. So an informative abstract embraces the background, purpose, method, scope, results, conclusion, and recommendation. Okay, so the length varies according to discipline. Okay, this is what you have to note here, according to discipline. But an informative abstract is usually between 150 to 250. Okay, so this is the length usually for most abstracts of journals. Okay, for abstract of most journals, this is how it looks like. This is the length of an informative abstract. So what we are saying here is that is what we are going to use. That's what we are going to use, okay, for our research publication. Now the last type of abstract is called highlight abstract. Okay, so this is specifically written to attract readers' attention to a study, okay? It's written just to attract the reader's attention, okay? So the highlight abstract cannot stand independent of its associated article. Okay, it is not a true abstract and therefore rarely used in academic writing. It is not a true abstract and therefore it's not usually used in academic writing. So these are the four types of abstract. Now we are going to look at how to write a standard research abstract. How to write a standard research abstract. Okay, so the first thing to do is to identify the key issues your study hinges on. Okay, so you have to identify the key issue or issue your study hinges on, because you are going to use this to write the introduction aspect of your abstract. Okay, what does your study hinge on, or what is the foundation of your study? Number two, identify and write out the major objectives, or hypothesis. So identify and write out the major objectives or hypothesis. Number three, select key sentences and phrases from your methodology section. Okay, so what I'm saying here is that if you want to write your abstract, you don't just sit down and think from your mind, I mean, what to write. No, you don't do it like that. So what you do is you go to your introduction, you find out what is the key thing that my study is hinged on. What is the key thing, or the main problem, or the main issue, like that. Okay. Now you go to your objectives part or your research questions, and then you look at it. Okay. How do I write this into one single objective? And then you look at it. Maybe in your study you did not indicate an objective, or you just wrote research questions. So what you are going to do is you are going to convert that into an objective, yes, into 1 to 2 sentences only. And then number three, after you are done, you are going to go to your methodology section, and then you are going to pick out the key sentences, only the key sentences. Don't forget what we mentioned earlier. Okay, so when you talk about your respondent, the research local, the design you have used, the research method used. Okay, like that, the instrument you use, and how uh, you use them. Number four, identify the main results. Okay, the main results. So you are not going to pick up all the details. So the main results in the section. Number five, you have to arrange the sentences you have picked from step 1, 2, and 3 into a single paragraph. Okay, so you have to put everything into a single paragraph. Okay, all right. So you need to have the introduction, the purpose, the method, results, and then the conclusion. You have to put everything together in one single paragraph. Okay, number six. Make sure that this paragraph does not contain new information that is not presented in the paper. So don't include anything which is not found in your paper in the abstract. Okay, maybe you are trying to prove a point or trying to convince your reader. Please, everything you include in your abstract should be found in your research paper. Okay, don't add any undefined abbreviation or group names. Okay, all right, you don't do discussion here. Don't add citation or references in your abstract. Okay, and then make sure you remove any unnecessary detail, any unnecessary adjective, any unnecessary adverb. Just remove them and keep everything brief as much as possible. You keep everything brief as much as possible. Number seven, remove all extra information, and then link your sentences to ensure that information are well connected and flows well. So you got a piece from the introduction, a piece from the objective, a piece from the methodology, from the result, from the conclusion. Now you have to put them all together. You add some conjunctions, and then you put them together so that it flows naturally. So whoever reads it will not see it as pieces of information, but he will see it as a story. I mean, it should flow like a story. Okay, so preferably the following order is usually good: the background, the purpose, the design, the methodology, the major finding, summary of your interpretation, the conclusion and implication. Okay, usually this kind of flow, it's really good. Okay, this kind of flow, it's good if you want to write a good research abstract. Okay, number eight, confirm that there is consistency between the information presented in the abstract and your paper. Okay, so after you are done, you have to confirm that, look, what is found in your paper has been represented in the abstract. Okay, so that there should not be conflicted. Okay, there should not be any conflict between your abstract and then the actual paper. Okay, you can also ask your colleagues, okay, to check it out for you. If the purpose and the method, the conclusion you are presenting are clearly stated or not. Okay, if a second person will read the paper or will read your abstract, okay, maybe how you see it could be different from how others will see it. So if your colleagues will read for you If there's something they don't understand, they'll say, "Oh, I think this point is not well stated," and then in so doing, they will help you to clarify all the things which are not clearly indicated. Number 10, check to see if the final abstract meets the guideline of the target journal, okay? In terms of the word limit, the type of abstract, and then the recommended subheadings. So after you're done, you have to cross-check after your colleagues have checked for you. Now go back to the journal and check if you met the standard or not. Okay, this is very important because I mentioned earlier that it has to be in one paragraph, but this is not a general rule for every journal because I have seen some journals whereby the abstract is written in subheadings. I think way back in 2008, we submitted a paper to one journal in Malaysia. I think Malaysia Journal of Instruction or something like that. And then for the first time, I noticed that look, the abstract is written into 5 different subheadings. Okay, which was the introduction. So you have to write introduction, and then you write what the introduction is. After that, the A, then you write then like that. So I noticed that look, it's different from what I have been doing for many years. Okay, so you have to cross-check with your journal just to be sure that what you have done is what the journal requires. Okay, so keep this in mind that you are not writing what you like, but you are writing what the journal likes. So if you are not going to do what they want, then it means that they are not going to publish your paper. Okay, take note what to avoid. Avoid lengthy background. Okay, don't write lengthy introduction in the abstract. Number 2, redundant phrases, unnecessary abstract, adverbs, and adjectives. Okay, repetitive information. This is what you have to avoid. Don't repeat anything. Okay, and then avoid uh, acronyms or abbreviations, and then references to other literature. Don't make any reference. Okay, using of epilepticals. Okay, so like ending with dot dot and so on and so forth, and then avoid incomplete sentences. Okay, jargons or terms that may be confusing to the reader need to be avoided. Any short, any sort of image, illustration, figure, or table, or reference to them. So don't include any image, any figure, any table in your abstract, or don't refer the reader to any table. Don't make any reference here. Don't make any reference. For example, you in the result aspect of the study, you put into bracket uh, table 2 or something like that. No, you don't have to do that in your abstract. Just write straight away. Don't refer the reader to anything. Okay. Now we are going to look at the Highland move structure of research uh, abstract. Okay. So actually, this is one of the things that really helped me way back in 2008. Okay, I learned about this when one of my colleagues asked me to help her publish her paper. So I had to make a critique of about 120 abstracts for her. Okay, actually, I think uh, in working with her, I critiqued around 180 abstracts because I helped her to publish 3 papers in Scopus. Okay, so uh, I had to learn about this because his study was based on this. So the move structure says that your abstract should have 5 components, which is the introduction, the purpose, the method, the product, and the conclusion. So what is different from what I have been talking about is the product. And the product here is the same as the result, okay? But the move structure calls it product. Okay, so it gives the function of every component of the research abstract. So the move says that the Highland move structure says that the function of the introduction is to establish the context of the paper. Okay, it should establish the context of the paper. The purpose, okay, the purpose aspect should indicate the purpose. Okay, should outline the aim behind the study. Method, the method provides information on the design, the procedure, and data analysis. Okay, and then the product indicates the results and the argument. Indicate the results and the argument. And then the conclusion points to application or wider implication and interpretation of the results. Okay, take note of that. So if ever you are confused, in my abstract, what should I write? I don't know. Okay, you can go back to this structure, and then this table here will tell you what to include in every component of the abstract. It will tell you clearly what you need to include in every component of the abstract. So the Highland move structure, it's very, very good mirror that shows you what every component of your abstract should contain, okay, from the introduction all the way to the conclusion. Okay, so you can always refer to this if you are confused on what to add in the various part of the abstract. Let's go back to the move uh, structure, and then uh, the Highland 2000 move structure, and then you can know exactly what you have to include in your abstract. So this brings us to the end of our discussion on how to write an abstract. So I'm going to end here, and then our last presentation is going to be on how to do the referencing. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this discussion. Okay, so see you in the next presentation. Thank you.